Kumusta ka Pilipinas? Ako sa Akaza at yung it is time to talk about and review Dead End's Complaints, released back in 1985 on Twisted Red Cross TRC with 3 catalog number. And man, oh man, is it a legendary and iconic album. There's a few facts I want to get into before we talk about the sound and the feel of Dead End's Complaints, and which, by the way, unlike most of my reviews where I go through the track list and all that, I'm not actually going to diagnose all the songs and talk about it because I've already done that in my interview with Adam Atlanta. A link to that will be in the description below. And also, I did talk about this a bit in my second going review, but there's still some things about this album I want to talk about, including the sound and so forth. But anyway, first and foremost, Dead End's Complaints. Dead End's have 4 albums. Complaints in 85, Second Coming in 86, Damnation in 87, and Mama Tai Songai in 1995. Mama Tai Songai isn't on TRC, Twisted Red Cross. And another fun fact, Dead Ends were the only, and are the only band, to have more than one official album released on Twisted Red Cross. As I said, they've got 3. Complaints, Second Coming, and Damnation. Those 3 were released on Twisted Red Cross, and they are the only band to do that. Urban Bandits, GI, Phil Vio, Deceased, RDA, the rest of them, lots of bands have one album released on Twisted Red Cross, but Dead Ends have not 1, not 2, but 3 full-length albums. That is fucking fantastic. Twisted Red Cross, it is the legendary Filipino underground punk rock record label from the 80s, and Dead End be dominating 85, 86, 87, and they're also part, they believe Trina's Fatal Response. Dead Ends are, you can't talk about Twisted Red Cross in Philippine hardcore punk without bringing up Dead Ends, especially Throw 2 later on. Aldem Atlanta is he's a good friend of mine. I call him Kuya Al. He's awesome. Can't wait to meet him in person and hear Throw, because Dead Ends no longer plays. They stopped playing in 96 when J. Atlanta, the bassist, unfortunately passed away, which rest in peace to him. But I can't wait to meet Al in person here soon and chill. But yeah, Dead End's Complaints was the very first underground full-length album release by a Philippine punk band. And yes, in 83, Ocean Zoo put out Animal Party, the 7-inch, and Chaos in 83 put out the self-titled 7-inch, which those aren't full-length, those are just EP 7-inches, and as I said in 84, Third Chaos, New Move for Error, that the first ever vinyl record, the first ever full-length punk rock album was released before Complaints, but like I said, that was a mainstream release, that wasn't underground. Although Chaos were definitely a huge part of the underground scene, the record wasn't part of Twisted Red Cross. The New Move for Error was not released on TRC. I wanted to bring that up because a lot of people that I've talked to, it doesn't really click with them too well. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Complaints was the first ever underground album release in the Philippines. Holy hell. And for those of you who have no idea what Twisted Red Cross is or any of that, you might be like, they were the first, and they're TRC 03, he said. What's TRC 1 and 2? TRC 01 is Rescue Letters to the Human Barricade. That's a VA comp. And let me just put it this way, it was released in 85. If you want the absolute best introduction to old school hardcore Pinoy punk, then Rescue Letters to the Human Barricade is right there for you. TRC 02 is Brave New World Life Part 3, which is actually Part 5 if you do your research. I've talked to some punks. TRC 02, Brave New World Life Part 3 is actually the 5th Brave New World show. Brave New World is the name of the Philippine Underground, and it's this event where bands get together. I'll make an entire video on that, but that's the first 2. Dead End's Complaints was the first full-length album on Twisted Red Cross. It's the first full-length album by... so many firsts here! And, you know what? Another awesome thing, and the artwork for Dead End's Complaints. It's J. Atlanta pissing on the side of a house or a building. I talked to Adam Atlanta. I think he said it was his own house. Yeah, it's J. Atlanta pissing on the side of a house with Complaints spray painted above him. His guitars or his bass is next to him, guitar's next to him, and a Dead End sign with the S spray painted on there. Dead End's the glorious Dead End's logo, and then there's a broken, I think, a snare drum next to that. But yeah, that album art by itself just screams underground punk rock. It just screams at you. And it screams just like the first song on this album. Complaints, self-titled song. Complaints! I can't do Al DeMolante's voice. There's no way. But you know it's kind of funny, and I've noticed this. Complaints, Second Coming, Damnation, A Moment to Song Guy, all 4 albums kind of have the same startup. Complaints starts with Complaints! Second Coming starts with We're Back! Damnation starts with No, system, no, system, no, and then so forth. Like, all 4 albums start with Al shouting something. That's kind of interesting. But, Complaints, musically, if you ask me what it sounds like, if you've never heard it before, I said Second Coming's hardcore punk, just straight up. Complaints is more classic 77 punk, but little heavier. It's more classic punk rock with the hardcore fusion, and what sets this album apart from all of its contemporaries is Al's hysteria levels of hardcore vocals. That guy, I've obviously never heard Al DeMolante in the same room playing music. I will soon. But I can only imagine what this man sounds like in person, because the way he comes across in his music is unlike any other hardcore band I've ever heard. I would sit here and try to imitate it for you, but I don't want to cause anyone's ears to bleed. I actually, in my Second Coming review video, I played his vocals next. I called him like the male polystyrene, because polystyrene the X-ray specs, her angelic voice just can bend steel. Al DeMolante's voice destroys planets when he shouts. And in Complaints, a lot of the, especially the faster songs like No Stopping Us, Neurotic Tendencies, Morons Like You, many of the faster songs, he just gets hysterical. I don't mean funny. I mean, yeah, the Dead Ends, they got a lot of sarcastic humor in their lyrics, which they make them really entertaining and fun to listen to. Especially in this time, you know, they take a lot of social problems and political things like that, and they, instead of just being like, fuck the system, fuck politicians, this and that, they take different parts of society and the government and different things that are going around, and they add this this just hysterical satire, sarcasm to it. It's kind of like the FUs almost, in that very nature. For those of you from the U.S. that want a good comparison, the Dead Ends just have this sarcastic lyric to them, this sarcastic tone to them, and it's unlike any other Philippine punk band that I've heard. Like, yeah, Al DeMolante, even today, you know, if you know him, if you see his Facebook posts, or if you know the guy from watching his speeches and whatnot, he's a very outspoken person. He uses his platform in his band and his music to try and do what he can to make a difference, to open people's minds to speak, and just to address things that bother him that he sees fit. You know what I'm saying? He's an activist. He's a musical activist. The guy does a lot. And from Complaints, 1985, Second Coming, Damnation, Moment to Song Guy, which we'll get to Damnation and Moment to Song Guy much later on. But I've been needing to talk about Complaints for a while. Just, I like the instrumental of Complaints, honestly. Second Coming, I enjoy the hell out of it because it's just straight up hardcore punk. But Complaints, I don't want to say it's more relaxing, but Complaints isn't really a constant shredder like Second Coming is. Second Coming, I think other than the song, what's the last song on Complaints? I think it's City. The song City on Second Coming is a bit of a slower song. Unlike that one, Complaints isn't a non-stop shredder. It's got some slower parts, but at the same time, it's not slower. It's classical punk parts, like kind of like the Germs or maybe the Avid or something like that. It's not necessarily way back to 77 style punk, but it's definitely got a classical punk rock feel to it, with hardcore fusions in there, and not just hardcore. I mean hysteria levels of hardcore, and just the way Al's vocals come across in some of the songs, like especially, like I said, No Stopping Us Now, Rage, Don't Want No War, Neurotic Tendencies. Lies, lies, lies. This hysteria feel. Like, if you just blast it loud, you can just, oh, yeah, get into it. The fucking emotion just moves you through these songs. And one of the most iconic Philippine punk rock songs of all time started on Complaints. Dreamer. Oh yeah, you know Dreamer. If you're from the Philippines, you fucking know that song. And Dreamer is like I said, it's one of the slower songs. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Dreamer, I'm not even gonna try to sing this because I'll fuck it up. Not because I don't know the lyrics, but just because my voice is not melodic. Yeah, Aldo Balanta, he does hardcore hysteria, but he also can carry a melody, and that guy is excellent at it. And he carries a melody, so especially on the song Dreamer. Dreamer is more of a song like, you know, John Lennon's Imagine. I like to call Dreamer the hardcore punk version of Imagine. If John Lennon of the Beatles, obviously, was a hardcore punk rocker, that's kind of funny to imagine, by the way. That's kind of what Dreamer is. You always run, you always hide, you can't accept reality. I like the part of the song, you know, when you dream, you can do anything when you dream. When you dream, it's dream. But when you wake up, you're still your stupid self. The song isn't condemning people for, you know, dreaming. And it's not saying, fuck you, you're never going to make it in life. Because if you take the song literally, then you might think that. But the song Dreamer is more so saying, hey, you have dreams, right? We all do. Well, if you spend all day sleeping or just doing nothing and dreaming, you're never going to see your dreams come true. Why don't you get off your ass and go do something and make your dreams happen? That's what that song's about. And that's honestly the only song on this album that I'm going to go into depth over, because the rest of it, I've already talked to Al DeMolanta. I have an interview with him. You'll check that out. And we kind of went over the songs of this album already. I will say the song Morons Like You was co-written with Fred Dador of Private Stock, the vocalist. No Stopping Us. Most of these songs on this album really do speak for themselves. It's why I don't really need to go into them. Complaints, a self-titled song, No Stopping Us, This World, just about people want to see peace and all that in this world. Rage, rage, don't want no war, nightmare, neurotic tendencies, dreamers, lies, lies, morons like you, the user. The user, I will make a few pieces on that song, because it's still a problem that persists today. The user, you probably know what that song's about. People who use drugs, or even worse, do things that they feel would make them at peace or give them a better slice, you know what I'm saying? And one line in that song that strikes me is, let's say you're extremely depressed, and you're not using drugs, not using nothing like that. You're extremely depressed, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna commit suicide. I want to finally be free of this tyranny, this disastrous life that I live. Well, the song User is not just talking about drug addicts using drugs to, you know, make themselves feel better. It also tackles suicide, which hit me hard, because I do suffer from depression. I mean, I'm not suicidal, but I've had suicidal thoughts in the past, and yeah, there have been times in the past where I'm just like, fuck it, I just want to kill myself, I'm done with this shit. And I do relate to that. And yeah, suicide definitely will stop the pain forever, because you'll be dead. You'll have no more pain, you'll have no more nothing, no happiness, nothing like that at all. But suicide is never the option. And it doesn't just hurt you, because you might be like, it doesn't hurt you at all, fucker, because you're dead. No, it does. It hurts you in another way, because you're no longer here. You just ruined your life. All the shit that you could have done, it's over with. It's gone. You no longer have the chance and the ability to do that. And everyone else who loved you, you just slapped them all in the face. Which I don't want to get into an argument of right to life, because I know a lot of people are no right to die. I don't want to get into an argument with those types of people, but I really like the song User, because it makes someone who's depressed, who I don't have suicidal thoughts anymore because I don't know. But someone who has went through that really think about the fact that, you know, just, it makes me really ponder that subject. It's like, damn. The user. Well, okay. When I say the song makes a reference to suicide, it doesn't actually make a reference to committing suicide. What it makes a reference to is someone using drugs to kill themselves, overdose. That's actually what the song's about, because it's called "The User." I should have made that more clear, but I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that. It's just a very serious song, and honestly, Complaints does have altogether a more serious tone to it than Second Coming, and kind of noticed that over the last several months, because I've owned this album digitally for the longest time. Second Coming, Sorry, Won't Fool Me Again, Nothing I Can Do, Insanity, New Life, Propaganda, Laptops, Whispers, Vixen, City Gun, Noise Barrage. Those songs are hardcore and straight to the point, but they do have a more lighter feel to them. I mean, yes, they're all hardcore punk, and they're tackling controversial and political subjects like Mr. Big. You know, it's about Marcos, but Complaints, No Stopping Us, World Rage, Don't Want No War, Nightmare, Neurotic Tendencies, Dreamer, Lies. These songs are heavier, in a sense, are more classic punk, but it's hard to really put this into the proper words. Complaints, just for the most part, has a darker overtone to it. It's got a more serious nature to the lyrics instead of, it's a serious yet sarcastic nature. I guess dark humor. There we go. Complaints has more dark humor in the lyrics than Second Coming. That's what I was going to say. That's what I wanted to say originally. Not that they're sarcastic, dark humor, but in the way that's really a punch in the face, so to speak. I mean, as I said, on the cover of the album is Jay taking a piss on a wall. That right there is symbolic in the sense of fuck you to the establishment. Because before I actually knew that was Jay DeMolanta taking a piss on the wall, I thought it was just a random punk pissing on a city, like a city building or something. That's what originally I thought that was, which is not far off from what I thought before, but that's just the attitude of this album. It's just a sarcastic fuck you to multiple different things that are happening in the world. It's Complaints by the Dead Ends, 1985 on Twisted Red Cross TRC03, the first ever underground Philippine punk rock album. Yeah, it's really all there is to say about it, and it paved way to countless others to follow. Betrayed, Urban Bandits, Arms Talk with Woods, Second Coming, G.I., Phil Vio, you name it. Dead Ends, Al DeMolanta and Jay DeMolanta. Rest in peace to Jay DeMolanta, which I do want to talk about before I end this. The lineup of Dead Ends, it hasn't really changed too much from 1984/85 to, 1996 when Jay DeMolanta passed away. Because when Jay DeMolanta passed away, the band was over with. Because, there's just, as I've said in many other videos, there's just, in some bands, there's certain members that you absolutely cannot, by any means, like when when Kurt Cobain died, Nirvana was done. When Jay passed away, Dead Ends were over with, because there's just certain members that you can't replace at all. But down here, Dead Ends from 85 to 87, so during the period when Complaints, Second Coming, and Damnation came out, the initial period, Al DeMolanta on guitar and vocals, Jay DeMolanta on bass, and Reen Pascual on drums. From 88 to 89, same with Al and Jay, Harley Alarcon on drums, and although this has nothing to do with Mama Tasanga, because that's another video, 95-96, same idea for guitar and vocals, only Lord Deveria on guitar and Bong Montojo on drums. We will get into Damnation on Mama Tasanga much later, but I wanted to do a quick little review over Dead Ends, Complaints, and like I said, just one more time, what's the feel of Complaints? It's just a more serious... I know I said before sarcastic and dark humor and serious, and I know that kind of... It's hard to really give it a specific character, because certain songs are more serious, but certain songs are more sarcastic. It's just kind of like The User. The User it's a serious song, but it has its sarcasm to it. I don't mean sarcasm as in it's making fun of, but it's sarcastically calling out people who do certain things. Dreamer, the song, although it's, when you listen to it, it sounds light as fuck, but lyrically, it's kind of a slap in the face to wake people up who are, they want to do things in life, but they're dreaming too much, and when you wake up, you're just your stupid self. It's got that tone to it. It's just more of a slap in the face type of album. Like, wake the fuck up. You want to make some change? Wake the fuck up. I do like, however, the first song, how it starts. Complaints, they say we're crazy, we don't care. They say we're different, we don't care. They say they're better, we don't care. It's got that classic punk rock, fuck you, we don't care type of mentality on with the first song. And I know I should have mentioned that 20 minutes ago, but hey, you know what? I'm all about them tangents, y'all know that. But anyway, guys, I'm Akaza. Please, now that you're done watching this review, go listen to Dead Ends Complaints. The link to it will be in the description below, as well as a link to my review of Second Coming, Damnation, and Mama the Song Guy here soon. And also go watch my interview with Adam Alanta. You will love the hell out of that. You will learn a lot more about this specific album, Dead Ends, Thorough, As We Defy. Get on with it, Dos Vidania.